Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So this is a story I've wanted to cover since I became aware of it. I've said often that I don't really keep up with much that goes on in the mainstream media anymore. I don't have time for it that much. I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, just rarely do I watch TV at all, really. When you have kids, your TV time diminishes depending on how many TVs you have in the house. And also depending on your work schedule. The TV is on the house, is usually on kids' cartoons, right? But when I heard about this just yesterday, I says, okay, hold on. I got to definitely do a story about this. I've talked about this in the past. And, as I don't keep up that much with the media, one of the stories that I'm going to talk about today, actually, it went right over me because I didn't hear about it. So, 40 some, I guess it was about 40 years ago. I remember it was about 1983 when there was news that broke that this new black television channel was debuting. At the time, I think it started off in just the Washington, D.C. area, but eventually, I know in Detroit, cable TV started catching on somewhere in the mid to, I don't know, maybe the latter part of the 80s. And that's around the time I started hearing, because I had read about it in 1983. And then in 1987, here it was. Okay, so now you got black entertainment television. Black entertainment television came to be a dominant force in, the transmission of black culture. It helped to explode the whole hip hop genre, R&B. It went beyond just black entertainment because, a lot of people watch black entertainment that aren't necessarily black people. And we know how hugely influential black culture is in the United States. And of course, we know this is also true in Brazil. But what we've been seeing, particularly in the internet age, is that everything is just so globalized now. I mean, we've been hearing about globalization for a couple of decades now. And with the internet and high-speed internet and streaming platforms and, social networks, the world has become a lot smaller. Wow, I just wonder I started digging into Brazil right around the time I got into the internet. So it was like it went hand in hand. So I often wonder, had there not been an internet, how would I be getting my information about Brazil right now? Today you can just click on a website. You can go to a number of search engines and find whatever you're looking for. I just wonder in 2023, if there wasn't without the advent of the internet, what the world would be like right now. I just wonder, would we have would the world appear to be so much smaller, than it really is? Because what would it have taken years? I remember when I first started meeting Brazilians, and I would have to buy these phone cards to make international phone calls. And if you didn't use a phone card, you would get this astronomical phone bill. I remember that. Now you're getting to the point where we have apps. You want to message somebody on the other side of the world, you just use WhatsApp, you use Telegram or whatever. And this is where we are now. You have platforms that people use every day that puts them in touch with people all over the world. I remember I was in Brazil. I was living in Sao Paulo when this Spotify platform came about. I've never been a big fan of Spotify. I don't really use it. But, the people that I work with, everybody in that office used to use Spotify. And it just, there's been a number of Brazilian artists over the last few years who have blown up with their music careers. And Spotify has a lot to do with that because it takes the music, to an international audience. When I first got into Brazilian music, there were just very few places in Detroit area where I could go to, where I could find vendors that, record stores that sold Brazilian music. There was a small window of artists that you could find in a record store that had a pretty decent global section. Nowadays, you go on the internet, you find whatever you're looking for, whatever country, particularly if you know the language of that country that you're looking for. So, what I want to talk about today is, over the last few years, I've been noticing that Brazilian artists, musicians, rappers, these funk singers have been getting a lot of shine internationally. They're getting played throughout Latin America. They're getting play in Europe. They're getting, recognition in the United States. I had done I had done a couple of articles where I showed that a number of Brazilian artists were being presented in these huge digital billboards in Times Square in New York. That's like, and every time this would happen for one of the artists, it would be a big news story on the internet. Like, I remember, I think it was MC Rebecca, a funk singer in Brazil, and she had this enormous digital billboard that was on display in Times Square. Also, one of my current favorite artists, this guy named Jonathan Fair, he had a visual in Times Square. So it was like Brazilian artists are getting shine globally. Um, Starting, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of Black Brazilians were getting recognition by the what is it called, MePad, the what is it called, the most influential persons of African descent, and they were giving out these awards in, I think in New York. And every year there were at least 1 to 3 to 4 Brazilians who were being recognized. I'm like, wow, that's intriguing. Black Brazilians are being recognized outside of Brazil. We know that a lot of Brazilian films, particularly those made by Afro-Brazilian directors, are getting shine in international like movie festivals, film festivals around the world, where in some ways they're getting more shine outside of Brazil than they are in their own country. So today I want to talk about another platform that I've noticed. I'm like, I missed this story in 2022 that I'm going to talk about, one of them. But this has to do with the BET Awards and the BET Hip Hop Awards, and how Brazilian rappers and funksters are getting recognition in, this new globalized version of BET. Now, there was a time when I really did like BET, but over the years, it's left much to be desired. There's a lot of things that are going on that Black people are becoming famous for that I don't necessarily believe to be a positive thing. BET made it clear some years ago that it was never about educational purposes. It was never about presenting the best images of Black people. It was, at a certain point, I think Bob Johnson made up his mind, like, this is going to be a money-making venture. And if we have to sell images of Black people that may not be necessarily positive, but it makes money, that's going to be the bottom line. So I can't necessarily say that it's a great thing for Brazilian artists to be just getting shine on BET. You could say that it is, but in the end, my question is, why? What's going on? Whenever something seems to be positive, I'm always just analyzing to see, okay, what's the other slant of why this is going on? It's great. Obviously, I don't listen to a lot of today's hip hop or today's the funk that's coming out of Brazil, because a lot of it just doesn't appeal to me. There are a few people that I like, a few artists. But I'm more curious about, every year since about 2018, I think if 1 year they weren't represented, but every year, like 5 of the last 6 years, Brazilian rappers and funksters have been nominated at either the BET Awards or the BET Hip Hop Awards. And, whether I'm fans of the music or not, it's still news. And it just makes me question, okay, good news. Okay, they're getting shine, but I still wonder, what is the end goal here? So Brazilian rappers and funksters gained international fame at BET Awards. L7nnon and Ryan SP nominated for 2023 ceremony to be held on June 25th, which is tomorrow night, live from Los Angeles. So let's just get into this story. These are some of the artists that have been featured as nominations in BET Awards or BET Hip Hop Awards. I'm going to go through each one of them featured in this picture. So this is a rapper, L7nnon, nominated for the Best International Artist in that category, and Ryan SP is also competing in the Viewer's Choice Award. So this information is courtesy of a number of websites: the Agito Max, Jovem Pan, Happy Forte, Tenho Mais Discos Que Amigos, Portal Popline, Seart, O Tempo, Rolling Stone. I think that might be the Brazilian edition. Brazil has its own edition of Rolling Stone magazine. You have the very ever popular UOL channel or website, Cultura Preta, UOL Splash, Glamourama, and Mundo Negro are just a whole bunch of sites that I use to put this article together, and previous articles where I've talked about this in terms of Brazilian artists being featured in, BET, the BET Brands productions and award shows. So Lennon, the most listened to Brazilian rapper today, has been nominated for the 2023 BET Awards, one of the biggest music awards ceremonies in the world. His nomination in the Best International Artist category is a recognition of his talent and represents the strength of Brazilian rap on the international scene. Lennon has the opportunity to showcase his music and compete globally alongside famous artists. Uh, the category in which he's competing will include Uncle Waffles from Switzerland, Tia Cola from France, Stormzy from the UK, KO from South Africa, Ella Mai from the UK, Central C from the UK, Burna Boy from Nigeria. Is it Ara Star from Nigeria and Aya Nakamura from France? So these are some of the artists that Lennon will be competing against, in this category. Big shout out to Lennon. I've heard about him for a number of years now. This is the funkero. What is his name? What is it? Ryan SP. He has a cameo. He has an appearance in a recent Anita video. I've talked about Anita previously. Again, whether I'm a fan of the music or not, I definitely have some issues with the image of Anita. But on the other hand, she is becoming a global phenomenon. She's getting a lot of recognition as a Brazilian artist outside of Brazilian borders. And anytime a Brazilian gets shine outside of Brazil, a lot of Brazilians celebrate it, even as a lot of people don't particularly care for Anita. Like, why is she broadcasting this image of Brazilian women around the world? Anyway, in addition, funkero Ryan S. also received a nomination at the 2023 BET Awards, competing in the Best New International Act category. This appointment is a reflection of the success and international reach that Brazilian funk has achieved in recent years. Recently, O som da quebrada, meaning the sound of the favela slum, has been beating dominant genres such as sertaneja on the charts. I've never been a big sertaneja fan. It's it's one of the most popular music genres in Brazil. I kind of call it like a Brazilian country style of music. I'm just, there's a lot of people who like sertaneja. I'm just not one of them. But, funk has been definitely getting its own share of recognition, even going up against a popular genre like sertaneja. The 2023 BET Awards, created by Black Entertainment Television to recognize African American artists in music, culture, entertainment, and sport, will take place on June 25th in Los Angeles. The awards will also be broadcast on official channels. This is MC Sophia. I remember when she came out, I don't think she might have been 12, 13, 14 years old. She's grown into a pretty young lady. She's still doing her thing. And MC Sophia was the first Brazilian artist that I remember being recognized or nominated at a BET Awards. I think this was like 2018. She didn't win, but just the fact that she was nominated was something that it was being celebrated in Brazil. Like, wow, look at this. And as I just said, in 2018, MC Sophia was one of the nominees in the International Best Artist category and competed against the likes of Nyla Blackman from Trinidad Tobago, Prince Whaley from France, and Sajava from South Africa. So this is the story that I did back in 2018 that I covered the story. 14-year-old MC Sophia's message of Black pride and empowerment will represent Brazil at the 2018 BET Awards in the category of Best New International Act. This was the release announcing her recognition as being nominated in 2018 at the BET Awards. So she competed with a number. She was a Viewer's Choice Best International Act. Her full name is Sofia Gomes da Rocha Gregoria Correia, better known as MC Sophia. So she's really the one who ushered in the internationalization of Brazilian artists, right? Well, in this new era, I think because of the internet, I think people have more access to a lot more music than they might have just even 15, 20 years ago. We know that bossa nova became an international phenomenon back in the 60s, but nowadays, you don't necessarily have to travel to the United States for people, or Europe or anywhere else for people to check out your music. People just go on the internet and check out whatever country they want to check out. So I give it to MC Sophia. She was the first person of the new crop of Brazilian artists to be recognized She didn't win, but just the fact that she was nominated said that Brazilian music is taking on the world stage. In 2020, rapper Jonga became the first Brazilian to compete for the BET Hip Hop Awards by being nominated in the Best International Artist category. I think he was nominated along with Stormzy, Miss Banks of the UK, Carice and Morel, both from France, Calligraph Jones of Kenya, and Nasty C from South Africa. And, Jonga is one of the most recognized hip hop artists in Brazil today. Again, he didn't win the prize that year either, but again, another Brazilian artist was recognized on the stage of, we can say, the largest representative of hip hop in the United States. Hip hop award ceremony, and it recognized artists outside of the United States. So this was a big deal as well. In the 2021 edition, rapper Emicida and Funkera, again, funkster or funk singer MC Drica, represented Brazil. Let's see if I can find that story on here. So in 2021, Black Brazilian Star Power at 2021 BET Awards, rapper Emicida, funkster MC Drica nominated, and philosopher Djamila Ribeiro received the Social Impact Award. So this was a big deal. This is what their nominations look like. Emicida and MC Drica did not win. Djamila did walk away with like a humanitarian type of an award. Again, this was big news to be celebrated in basically the home of, or where hip hop emerged. And, music like funk in Brazil is really with the type of beats that it has, is really part of hip hop in the United States. We've heard that type of music before, but in Brazil, it's kind of like you got hip hop and you got funky, what they call it, right? Let me see here. So Emicida was nominated in Best International Artist category on the June 27th ceremony. Then you had MC Drica. She says, I am very happy for this nomination, the only Brazilian representing funk and even more female funk. I thank from the bottom of my heart everyone who was voting and who vote for me. She was basically requesting people to vote for her. And this is what I was just saying, MC Drica was another Brazilian artist. Look at this huge digital billboard. She was featured in Times Square in New York. Times Square, I'm saying. A lot of Brazilian artists have been getting this exposure in New York Times Square. It's a huge stage there. Djamila Ribeiro, the philosopher, well-known feminist. She's blown up in the last decade. I mean, she really started blowing up. When I moved to Sao Paulo in 2012, I mean, I saw her making television appearances. She was putting out books and interviews and all types of stuff. So she walked away with an award that particular night. Again, so this is MC Drica and rapper Emicida. Emicida is a big businessman. He has his own clothing company. He's put out documentaries and films. He's made a number of music videos. He's perhaps one of the top rappers to come out of Brazil in the last decade or so. Okay. So that's talking about Emicida and MC Drica. So this is what I was just saying. At the 2021 BET Hip Hop Awards, this rapper here, Xamã, was the only Brazilian nominated for an award. The rapper from Rio de Janeiro competed in the Best International Flow category. That year, after Anitta, the pop funk singer Anitta was confirmed as a Video Music Award performer, it was Xamã's turn to be nominated for an international award. The ceremony took place on October 5th of that year and featured such names that, people in the US and around the world know, people such as Drake, Lil Nas X, and Cardi B, among many others. So this was Xamã. He was recognized. He was nominated in 2021 at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Like I said, that's another big deal. Even though he didn't win, Xamã had no reason to be disappointed, as he was also up for 7 awards in 6 categories at the MTV MIAW Awards and celebrated another unheard of feat. He was the most listened to rapper on Spotify for 6 months in a row. So, no reason to hang his head for not winning the BET Award, because, dude is getting his, right? For the 2022 BET Hip Hop Awards, the sister duo of Tasha and Tracy were the only Brazilian nominees. The twins competed for Best International Flow Award. They're the daughters of a Brazilian mother and a Nigerian father. The singers are from the North Zone of Sao Paulo. That's where I lived when I was in Sao Paulo. And they have been increasingly consolidating their work after releasing the album Diretoria in the previous year. These are the twins. What, Tracy and Tasha, or Tasha and Tracy sometimes. I've seen it written both ways. Um, so this is the other story I wanted to get to. In 2022 BET Awards, it saw two Brazilian artists nominated. Popular funk singer Ludmilla was in the running in the category of Best International Artist representing, but unfortunately didn't take home a trophy. On the other hand, and I just found this out. I didn't realize this until yesterday, that there has been a Brazilian artist to take home a trophy in one of the BET sponsored award ceremonies. 2022 could be seen as a breakthrough for Brazilians competing, as the rapper known as MD Chefe, a 21-year-old Carioca or Rio native, and one of the new voices of Brazilian trap music, made history as the first Brazilian rapper or funkster to take home a BET award. That's big news. I don't know how I missed that, but definitely when I heard about it, I'm like, okay, I definitely have to talk about this. That's a huge thing. Again, whether you're a supporter of BET or not, I don't watch BET. I don't have it. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow night just because I haven't watched the BET Awards in, I would say, 15 or 20 years, to tell you the truth. But just the fact that this is bringing international shine to artists out of the United States is something that's totally newsworthy, particularly for Brazilian artists. Of course, this is Ludmilla. She's been one of the biggest artists in Brazil over the last decade. I still remember when she first came out. Heard her song on it seemed like I heard her song everywhere in the streets on car stereos, like every day for several months. And look where she is now. She if I'm not mistaken, Ludmilla is appearing in the what is the name of that film series? The Fast and the Furious. I think she's making an appearance in the film, and she has a song in the film. So Brazilian artists are going international. That's something else I have to talk about in an upcoming video. It's just so much to talk about. One guy can't cover it all, but let me keep this moving. After going viral with the song Hey Lacoste, MD Chefe took off on the national trap scene, and on his social network, the artist celebrated. It's that talk. I'm not going to act like I don't work for this, right? So once again, we're there. We're taking the market to other worlds. It's the national trap. That's the truth. National trap in this sense being Brazilian trap music, right? So, he and a number of other Brazilian artists, again, are getting this global shine, and it's great for them. The question would be for me, when I look at artists like Anita and other artists who are willing to just do whatever to get paid, the question is, are they internationalizing artists who have an image that maybe our young people should or should not follow? That's always a question for me. Like, okay, so I'm presenting this news because I do think it's big news for Brazilian artists. But on the other hand, there was a particular video that I reviewed featuring Ludmilla and Tasha and Tracy. They were seen robbing a bank. It looked something like the Set It Off movie, and it was kind of, you just have to see it. I'm just, okay, Ludmilla is getting there, but I'm saying the images she presented in that music video, is that something we want our kids to emulate? That was just my view. I mean, it's always going to be a question for me. How far do we go with the images that we put out there in order to get paid? So, since 2018, a number of Black Brazilian artists have competed in the BET Award and BET Hip Hop Award categories. All told, there have been 10 artists featured between the two award ceremonies, which include the aforementioned MC Sophia, or they say MC Sophia, Tasha and Tracy, Ludmilla, Jonga, Emicida, MC Drica, Shaman, and now L7nnon and MC Ryan SP. Along with MD Chefe, who became the first Brazilian artist to actually win an award for his music, or his performance. This is Djamila Ribeiro, again, the popular philosopher feminist. Although she is not an artist, it must be pointed out that the philosopher and feminist Djamila Ribeiro also took home the Social Impact Award in 2021. The awards will be broadcast live direct from Los Angeles at 9 p.m. and it will be on BET Pluto TV via the free streaming service Pluto TV, and also on MTV. The BET award ceremony will be broadcast in Brazil. So again, I'm curious about where Brazil BET is going. From what I hear, Tyler Perry just recently purchased BET, and I'm not sure if that means it's going to be better quality on BET, or some of Tyler Perry's productions are problematic for me as well. So it remains to be seen the direction of BET now that Tyler Perry, from what I've heard, has taken over ownership of the company. So now what I want to do is I want to just talk about how this thing with Brazilian artists and the BET Awards is big news in the Brazilian media. It's, as I said, whenever a Brazilian gets shine on the international stage, it's always big news. Sometimes it's on, some of the top television networks, but it's definitely all over, websites online. BET Awards 2023 will be transmitted live on Sunday on Pluto TV and on MTV. So they're talking about this online in Brazil. I'm not sure exactly what year, but I think 2021 was the first year that the BET Awards was simulcast over in Brazil. So this is 2021, this particular article, and you see Jamila Ribeiro again. Pluto TV they'll carry out the first live transmission in Brazil of the BET Awards. L7nnon and MC Ryan SP are nominated for BET Awards in 2023. This is one of the global networks outlets, global being the top television network in the country. And this is on their website for G Show. And they're just talking about these two artists being nominated for a BET Award. Who are the nominees for the 2023 BET Awards? Well, there's been a number of American artists. Of course, we know Miss Beyonce. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for here. Of course, we know who this young guy is. Let me see if I can find. See, best collaboration, best female artist, video of the year, video director of the year, Viewers Choice Award, okay, so best international artist. Here you have L7nnon from Brazil, along with it looks like about 10 artists. 9 other artists that he's competing with. Then you have on the Viewers Choice Best International Act, you have MC Ryan SP I think he's from Sao Paulo. That's usually SP stands for Sao Paulo. Let's check out a couple more headlines here. This is from the Estado de Minas newspaper website. MD Chefe wins the award that Jonga and Emicida didn't bring to Brazil. So this is celebration of the first Brazilian artist to bring home a BET award. Again, that was big news. BET Awards 2020, MC Chefe was the first winner in history. MD Chefe makes history and becomes the first Brazilian to win a BET award. There's been other Brazilians nominated for the award. All right. This is 2018. She's from Brazil. MC Sophia is nominated at the BET Awards in 2018. This is an article from June 13th of 2018. Again, another celebration for MD Chefe. He wins an award for Best New International Artist at the BET Awards in 2022. This was mentioned earlier where it talked about how Anitta became the first Brazilian artist to win an award at the Video Music Awards. Okay, love her or hate her, okay, she's successful. She's pretty big, and now she's growing her global brand. Okay, this is an article that I've already talked about. Okay, this was a rapper Jonga nominated for BET Hip Hop Award in 2020. Again, Jonga didn't come home with it, but again, he became the second Brazilian to be nominated for a Brazilian or a BET associated award ceremony. MC Sophia was nominated, I think, as I said, at BET Awards. And then in 2020, Jonga was nominated for a BET Hip Hop Award. So again, these are huge stories. This guy is one of the biggest rappers coming out of Brazil. So he's now being recognized on the global stage. These are some of the headlines that talked about him. Jonga is the first Brazilian nominated at BET Hip Hop Awards. Same thing here. Jonga is the first Brazilian artist nominated at the BET Hip Hop Awards. So this is a pretty big deal. Like I said, I'm not particularly a fan of the BET brand anymore. But like I said, as this has to do with Brazilian artists going international, I just felt like it was a story that I had to cover. I'm going to just feature a couple of more of the headlines on websites that have covered these stories featuring Brazilian artists and the BET brand. So let's check some of those out. Okay, so here we have at the Carta Capital website, Jamila Ribeiro is the first Brazilian in history to receive a BET award. Jonga, Emicida, and MC Sophia are nominated, and they just basically they're getting paid homage internationally for their accomplishments. Again, on the BET, the stage that has now gone global. Emicida nominated for BET Award in the United States. Rappers L7nnon and MC Ryan SP are nominated for an international award, again, the BET Awards. The only name of Brazil on the list, Ludmilla, is nominated at the BET Awards in 2022. Okay. MC Jerica is nominated at the BET Awards in the Best New International Artist category. This is from 2021, as I've already said. MC Drica is nominated at the BET Awards, the only Brazilian representing the funk. Okay. Let's see. MC Drica and singer rapper MC Emicida are the two Brazilian representatives at the BET Awards. From 2018, MC Sophia is among those nominated at the BET Awards 2018. Xamã is the only Brazilian nominated at the BET Hip Hop Awards in 2021. Again, MD Sheffy, I've already talked about this particular headline. This is again from the Global News website, G1. MD Sheffy wins award as the, I guess you could say, Best New International Artist at the BET Awards. MC Sophia and Djonga were the first Brazilians nominated by the BET channel for their award ceremony. Okay. Tasha and Tracy are the only Brazilians nominated for the BET Hip Hop Awards in 2022. So these are just some of the headlines. You know, I could, as many stories that were put out about the accomplishments of these Brazilian artists being recognized by the BET brand. I mean, there were hundreds of articles about these. These were just a handful. So looking forward to see what happens with the BET Awards ceremony tomorrow night. Win or lose, the whole point is, you know, Brazilian musicians are getting their shine internationally. And I just wanted to discuss that a little bit today. Don't know if I'm going to be checking out the BET Awards. Like I said, I haven't watched it in probably over a decade to 15 years, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the Brazilian artist being nominated for the ceremony. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you like this video. Hope you learned something. Just it's a good thing where artists outside of the United States are getting a slice of that international audience, right? So I'm going to end the video here. Definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you thought. Tell me if you're familiar with any of these artists that I featured today. You know, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely, if you've watched more than a few videos and you found them, you know, you got some information you didn't know or you were entertained, definitely consider subscribing. Click on that notification bell so that you know when I put up another video. And with that said, I'm going to end this one here and hope you come and check out the next video.